Hey, this is Ganj back, and today we're going to be talking about blackout DVD purchases. And what I mean by that is, well, as I've discussed, I work overnights. And when you work overnight, it's a good time to go to the grocery stores in the morning. Everyone else is going to work, and you've got the whole grocery store to yourself. So I'll go in there and I'll buy vegetables and meat and toiletries and all the shit you buy at the grocery store. But I would say a good amount of the times I would pregame before the grocery store. Get a little drunk, smoke a little bud, go to the grocery store. But the catch with that is you'll end up coming home with things that you might not necessarily need. A party pack of ho-hos, 5 jugs of ruby red grapefruit juice, just very uninformed options. But sometimes when you're standing in line for the checkout, you'll see all the cheap $3 to $5 DVDs, and given enough alcohol, I'll buy them. And most of the time, I won't remember that I buy them. And I'll wake up in the evening, and I'll find a DVD amongst the groceries, and I'll be like, what the fuck was I thinking? So here are my blackout DVD purchases. I've picked out 3 DVDs. These are the ones that are the most recent, and I'm not actually going to talk about first is Beetlejuice. Now, I don't remember what I was thinking when I bought this, but I would gander that I've never actually seen this movie the whole way through, and it's an iconic, classic Tim Burton film. And I thought I probably should watch it. Since I woke up with this, I have not been able to sit through it once. Every time I fall asleep. Early 90s Tim Burton movies, I guess the best way to put it was, when I was 21, I was seduced by an older woman, and she peer pressured me into shooting up heroin. It's very rare that when someone shoots heroin that it's an isolated event, but one of the very few people that never did it again. My first reaction was, this is not something I like. But every time I watch an early 90s Tim Burton movie, my first thought is, damn, I feel like shooting up some goddamn fucking heroin. There's a Baldwin in this movie. Which one is he? Alec? My second blackout DVD purchase is The Goonies. Now, this one I have seen. I personally think it's a little overrated. It's, your typical 80s adventure movie. It's got Steven Spielberg nut stains all over it. Richard Donner directed it, the guy who did Superman. It's got some actors before they were famous. Sean Astin's in it, Josh Brolin. And the one I specifically want to call out is Corey Feldman. I actually met Corey Feldman once. He was if Michael Jackson was a lizard. The plastic surgery, I think, is what gave off the lizard appearance, He definitely has had a lot of plastic surgery. He's clearly a mid-40s individual that is trying to look like he's 12, But he wears the Michael Jackson outfit. Like, he was walking around the hotel in a white suit and a white fedora, singing Ascension Millennium and shit. It was pretty fucking weird. It's funny, though, because when he checked in, he checked in late at night, and there was a night auditor there, this sweet, old, middle-aged lady, definitely like a flower child, Woodstock, 60s kid generation. Reads books, probably has 5 cats, doesn't know much about pop culture. She checked him in, and he wasn't the one that was checking in. He was checked in by his agent or whatever, and he was standing there with one of Corey's angels. Yes, Corey Feldman has his own Playboy bunnies called Corey's Angels, and Sue, the night auditor, she thought that he was some sort of heroin addict that was being put up by a foster family and demanded that he put down his credit card for the room, and he got really offended, and he was really pissed off by that. But we actually tried to authorize his debit card, and it wouldn't even authorize for $2. Corey Feldman's a cheap fuck. And then last, but certainly not least, and the one I have the most to say, is The Indian in the Cupboard. Now, although dated, this film, it's a solid movie. It's a lot of fun. Frank Oz did it. So, I mean, I love Labyrinth. I love The Dark Crystal. I never saw those as a kid, but I watched those in high school. This one, though, was what I watched as a kid. I remember getting it from Blockbuster on VHS. It's a really imaginative movie. Doesn't translate well on a politically correct spectrum for nowadays. You know, nowadays it would be the Native American in the cupboard. Because, you know, the reason Native Americans are called Indians is because the stupid motherfuckers that founded this country thought they ended up in India. Okay. I don't know where the fuck y'all coming from, but India is like in the complete opposite end of the fucking world. Anyhow, hundreds of years later, we're still calling them fucking Indians? Like, seriously, that's like calling Mark Wahlberg Matt Damon, finding out Mark Wahlberg is actually Mark Wahlberg, but still calling him Matt fucking Damon. Another thing that I'd like to point out about this DVD is that on the back, under the rating, we can see that it's PG, for mild language and brief video images of violence and sexy dancing. And sexy dancing. And sexy dancing. Sexy dancing? What sexy dancing is there in The Indian in the Cupboard? That doesn't make any goddamn sense. What could they possibly be talking about? That is the only dancing in the motherfucking movie. Now, I could do a whole review on this movie, but I just want to focus on this one point. Why is that sexy dancing? He's doing a traditional, ritualistic chant, dance, I don't know the proper term for it, but he's not, like, busting on a pole or nothing. Motherfucker! Like, just because the individual is sexy, and yes, that motherfucker is sexy as hell. He's ripped, he's got a handsome, beautiful fucking face. I would fucking lick chocolate syrup off his chest. He's that fucking sexy. Probably play with his nipples too. So, I feel like if anything, if it was gonna be accurate, they would have said sexy man dancing, not just sexy dancing, because if it was an old guy, an old unattractive man, would it have been sexy? If it was some young dumpy fuck, would it have been sexy? Would the dancing have been sexy? No. Just because he's good looking makes it sexy dancing. That's fucked up. That's racist. Alright, now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go jerk off to that sexy dancing on the DVD.